in the library 218. There are 5 engineering classrooms here at Unitec with 2019. They're all running nicely. They're open from about 8 in the morning to about 8 at night and in the weekends. I know the library is much more comforting, and I know you probably see lots of friends there and the nice looking girl or guys there, and I know the long black cafes there as well, but at the end of the day, if you want to get your study done, we do provide 5 rooms with AutoCAD 219. That's got 18. Most students report that there's not too much difference, but that is at your own peril. If you send me a file and I open it on 219 and you're missing lines or things are wrong, then you'll get marked accordingly. Best way to do it is come in here, open it up on 19, check everything and send it in, if that's the way that you want to go. 19 does require a slightly better computer, so it may just be that one you bought at the warehouse 16 years ago doesn't work anymore. You can change your mind, does it? Right.
Did you finish that table?
So the two things that I'm going to demonstrate are eyeballing, just so that, I mean, we kind of did eyeballing in the lecture, we sort of did it there, because I sort of gave you 3 points and we kind of eyeballed where things were, but just to clarify that a bit more. Can anyone see a good place to start if we're doing contours every half a metre? So half a metre will be 51, 51.5, 52, 52.5, 53, etc. Can you see a nice little place to start? I'll give you a clue. The contours run that way. Come on, someone must have been talking to someone in the other class. I actually offered half a mark to the other class, and immediately people started saying things. I can't for you guys because, sorry, someone could have told you. The answer that was correct was that they should start by making a layer up called contours. And nobody got it for some reason. So let's make a new layer up called contour. Is it? Yep. That was a bit mean, wasn't it? Okay, so we'll go layer and we'll go contours. And we'll set it as current. And go back here. And the next best answer of where to start is we have a 53 contour over there. And we have a 53 contour here. Remember what I said in the lecture? They always sort of end up on themselves somewhere. Well, somewhere along the line it's going to end up over there. So I'm going to start there, hoping I end up there. And then I'm going to do the 52 after that. So in terms of eyeballing, if I was playing Mastermind and someone said to me, Roger, your time starts. Your time starts now. I would say 53 between those two is about there, and about there, and about there, and about there. Stop the clock. 4 seconds, and I've just done contours through 4 spots. But I mean, hey, I've been teaching this for 16 years, so I should be able to do that, right? So what did I do? Well, I didn't actually do it this quickly, but if you were doing it slower, you interrogate these 2 points here. You know the 53 is going to fall between them, and it's going to be a lot closer to the 91. So I thought, oh, maybe sort of around this region here. I then moved on, 53.84, that is 84 over the 53, but that's only 0.25 away. So it's going to be, probably that looks a little bit wrong. We'll have a look at that later. This one here, 52.8, 52 point, that's pretty close to, no it's not, that's 54, not 53. So it's going to be probably even down here more. So on inspection, I was probably should have been something more like that. Okay? But that was eyeballing 4 seconds worth. You guys want a quick way to get through the weekend? You do it in 4 seconds worth, or you think about it a little bit more, and you can eyeball it a little bit better.
If we're talking 20 mils
Yep.
for a plan that's this large, is there a problem there? I mean,
20 mils in terms of...
well, in terms of, I guess, 6 metres, whatever the contours are, and
uh,
you're not doing any works on that side of the water,
on the other side,
yeah.
I think to be fair, this is a very good question actually. To be fair, if this was the real world and you were able just to do some very quick eyeballing contours on the other side, then because the work isn't in that area, it would probably be sufficient for this particular job. But this is a class exercise and I'm going to be marking you on your accuracy, so unfortunately you won't get away with that over there. And let's just pretend that there's a future something or other happening over there and you got paid to submit those contours, right? So as a surveyor, if you're paid to submit contours, they have to be the most accurate you can get them, right?
Okay.
For a schematic, no. If we were just going to give a price to somebody to roughly do that job, then it can be that far out, you know. It's probably not going to make a lot of difference to the dollars. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do, let's do the 54. I won't be quite as quick and I'll talk your way through it this time. It's obviously just a little tad above there. And now it's getting a little bit more interesting. It's probably very close to the middle here. And then it's going to be 84, that's 16 and 80, so it's dropping down. And it's actually going to cut between these two. It's going to cut about there. And then it's going to cut between these two, and it's going to cut about here. Something like that. And then it's going back up to the 54 up here. So it's all a case of eyeballing between two spot heights. And how do we do the 53.5? Once we've got the two whole numbers, we can very simply just draw a line between the two lines that I've just drawn. And that is a fairly quick way of eyeballing. So what I'd like you to do, just kind of for the sake of actually doing this, is to have a go at trying to do the 52, which will go over here and back down here somewhere, and then the 52 and a half. So I'll give you not a lot of time. I'll give you maybe 3 minutes to open the file and have a bit of a crack at that and see if you get close at all to the answer that I'll show you. And by the way, guys, if you've been following the news today about the Polytechs, it shouldn't have a dramatic effect on you guys at all. If anything, they're going to be using engineering as a path forward for all the other subjects. Because we already have Unity throughout New Zealand, and it is already a New Zealand qualification. And we have governing laws who tell us exactly what to teach, etc. So the only thing that might happen is there might be a lot more national exams as opposed to local exams. It will still be sat here and it will still be us guys marking it. Okay? So the teaching will be similar. There may be slight changes, but I don't expect that in the next couple of years where you're still here, or 1 year after this one, there'll be major radical changes for you guys. And they'll start creeping in about 222 if you're still around at that time. Okay. The NZDE is due to change slightly as well because that's a New Zealand-wide decision. but it'll only be tweaking some subjects that they feel don't need to be taught anymore, and introducing the odd interesting one as well. From my point of view, the interesting one is going to be detailing and modelling, which is a degree subject at the moment. They're going to fine-tune, they're talking of fine-tuning that a little bit and maybe incorporating it as a third level drawing paper for students, but that's a little way off yet. That's still got to go through other approvals. Right. But nothing too much to worry about. I think the big change will be in the trades. Things are really going to start changing there in terms of how you do an apprenticeship. Yeah.
In terms of the bureaucracy of those polytechs,
Yep.
it's not going to be in Auckland or Wellington. How many jobs will be lost?
Oh, no. It'll still be here. It's just they're saying the head office is going to be Auckland, Wellington. So these days the head office could be in Gisborne, because everything's done by, conferences and internet and everything. They're just the dudes that pull the puppet strings, and they'll be flying in and out and eating from the big truck as they come to Unitec for a few nights and talking, national stuff. Generally speaking, though, Wellington is where there's a good central point to meet. So somewhere around there they'll figure something. Might be Palmerston, but Wellington is where all the planes come in. So I'm going down there in 10 weeks. So it's easy for everyone to go up and back in a day. So that won't be a problem. They're not going to just ditch this campus. They spend a lot of money on it. We'll still have the lovely facilities that are here. And if anything, Unitec's teacher to staff ratio is probably a little bit high anyway. Whereas there are other centres where I studied in Dunedin, it means it's a year, Polytech down there, we had like 5 to 1, 6 to 1. So I don't, if anything, I get a bit better for it.
I was more thinking about, they're going to be streamlining stuff, and that's the intention to save money.
Yeah, but once again, it depends on what we're studying. There are a lot of courses here that at the moment are directing students to the McDonald's and I don't want to say which one, but they'll fine-tune that throughout the country and we'll say no more or it's no use teaching someone to do something that they're just on the dole again. They want them to be doing real work. And also it's too easy at the moment to get the study and just waste it. It's happening too much. In other words, I think they want to make it easier to change direction. You start something and go, this sucks and we can move on to something else.
With these contour lines, do you think we should be doing straight lines or should we be doing curves? Because that's not
the most accurate contour line is a straight line because you're working with the data you've got. However, there is a functionality in 12D and Civil 3D where you hit a button and it makes lovely curves. If you're obsessed by that, you need to probably go down into architecture or something like that, where they like their lovely curves. In my opinion, it does look better, but it is not. You're cutting it from one. So it gets crucial when it comes to design. You're going to be doing contours. If you've done curved contours and you do a platform design, it changes things a wee bit. And it might just be that difference between ending up in wetlands and not. Because you'll all be a little bit different, and I always say don't do curves. We were encouraged to do curves when we were doing it manually, but no.
Yeah, it's just like you look at a map and they're all curved.
Yeah.
That's generally
They are. I agree. It's kind of to make it look pretty. People do maps like pretty stuff. Or visually, be less cynical, call it visually aesthetic stuff. Okay guys, the answer is there all the time, doesn't that annoy you? I love doing this. If you go into layers and turn on a layer called answer, and I exposed that a few minutes ago, because when I was making my contours, there was a layer above it called answer. So there we are. And you'll notice with me, it's a little bit hard to see the red, but you'll notice my one, remember I said that this probably should come down a little bit? Well, that's probably a more correct line. And that one as well. You know, that was not too bad an attempt for those two, considering I did it by eyeball. That next one up was pretty damn good. So there are times when Roger's going to check people that are doing a very quick contours, and he's just going to say, yep, that's good. Alright? So it's kind of annoying for people that spend the whole weekend doing calculations or nodes, but I can guarantee most of the time I'll be able to tell that you've done it by eyeballing. But I mean, I'm always open to a challenge. I remember one student said to me, you've got no way of finding out whether I cheated or not. First thing is, don't ever say that, because the minute that I start looking at a drawing, it's like someone putting their head above the radar and saying to the IRD, you know, catch me if you can. It's like, there's only one step better than standing in the class roll and going home with it last year. And bringing it in the next week, which is even done. You know that CAD true false test?
Yeah.
We had a setting wrong in it, and it was telling students, wrong answer, try again. And there was silence for the first about 2 or 3 minutes. And one student at the front went, oh sir, it's giving us the answers. I almost had to escort the person out of the room.
Do we have a true false test?
No, you've got multi-choice and calculations, and even if I said that's wrong, try again, it'll mix up the answer. Okay, the next one is the only other one I'm going to do. I've actually got a 3D view of this as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up class exercise 2.
Divide these lines into parts and just count into the precise locations.
Yep. So for this one, because it's eyeballing, so like guessing, yeah, estimating. Yeah,
In
but
assignment,
you have
to
to
Exercise 2 is under
divide
desktop.
command
Below.
is not,
Yep.
and to count.
And then I'll show you a 3D model of it, and it might all make sense.
Yeah, he will
All right.
tell you.
all right, that's what we go check.
We have some green contours which come through here. If you want, you can take the 92 contour all the way through. For some reason it got stopped. All the way through and between those two if you want. There's a platform level of 91.5. That's odd. We'll do the cut first. Can anyone tell me what the first offset is going to be from the platform for the cut? For half a mark.
What did you say?
1
1 to 1?
No.
1 meter.
2 to 1.
No.
1 to 2.
0.5.
You're right, but he just beat you to it. You just, for saying 0.5, you got, you asked me whether you get 0.5 marks, is that right? Yeah, he got 0.5, he got it down here. You've got till midnight to email me or you don't get that mark. And to get it completely, you have to explain why it's 0.5.
Just check the layers.
You just what?
Check the layers if it's fine.
You just check the layers. This is what you were going to say. I'm not going to take the mark off yet. This is what you were going to say. You're going to tell me that because it's 91.5, in your mind, and very quickly, I'm quite impressed with what you were doing, you drew a platform like that, right? And in your mind, the platform was 91.5. And you knew that the next contour up was 92. The difference between that and that is obviously 1/2 metre. You know that the cut is 1 to 1 because it says it over there. Does it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. In the bottom. So in that very short space of time, you drew this picture in your mind. You knew the cut was 1 to 1, and you went, well, hold on a minute. 1 to 1 means exactly the same as 1/2 to 1/2. So in plan view, we've offset by 1/2. And the next offset, we've got to go up to the 93. So the next offset will be 1, and then 1, and then 1, and then 1. So let's do that. But I can't be bothered drawing it, so I'll show you a video instead. I'll show you, I'll let you look at the other video. Now, you may not be able to open this on your computer. What I have to do is go to my settings and save it, download it, and then save it to desktop, which is a bit of a pain, but it's just my way of doing it. You might be able to do this at home. You may be able to click on it at home because these computers don't have all the programs, unfortunately. Design contours. There it is there. Okay, so I'll explain the way through it and I'll pause it occasionally. You're welcome to have a go at this yourself as well. So what we're doing is we're offset by the 1/2 that you told me, and then we're offset by 1, 1, 1, 1. The reason? 91.5. It's not a whole number. Okay? Then, now if you were clever, you would label these, because that would be 92, 93, 94, 95, and then you would join them up with the relative contours. Forget that one up the top. That's just me. Hopefully I got the sound turned off because my father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, walked in and said, "Has anyone taken Coronation Street?" which was very embarrassing. He did. And you're going to try and download that and wait for it. So that's the shape it forms. And then when we trim off all the other bits and pieces, you can see that it forms a kind of a wedge shape in the corner, which is your butterfly wing, I suppose. So as that video carries on, you'll see that the butterfly wing gets formed. And I don't want any engineers to say, by the way, see this little picture over here in the corner? This is how you do road and ramp contours. That's what the surveyors are going to be doing. Lucky them, eh? You won't go on to do that. You will go on to do a structural drawing. Just thought I'd show that. Sometimes you get a window into something else. So, yeah, there's my cut butterfly wing, and now we're doing an offset of 1 and then 2, 2, 2, because it's a 1/2 and then double, because the batter slope is 2 to 1, right? Now we join the dots. Unfortunately, we can't get right around the whole butterfly wing, but we can do a few of them just on this side. So it's just showing an example on this side of how we do the. Excuse me, I'll just tip that to the side. You'll see that it's trimming it off. And I'll try now to pause that. No, too late. Wait a minute. Replay. Come through to the end. Need to pause it just here and just explain things. Now, in the assignment, oh damn it. Teacher spends too much time playing on moving files and not enough time explaining things. In your assignment, I want to see you trim this off, and I also want to see you trim the contours underneath the butterfly wings, which will include those ones up the top there as well. So the contour comes in, it goes around the design contour, and it pops out the other side somewhere. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like in 3D. And this is the interesting bit that a lot of students go, so that's what it looks like in 3D. The ones that are awake. Okay. So I'm going to save that to there. There it is, it's popped up on that screen. And view 3D views top. Okay, so that's what we've just drawn. We've drawn the butterfly wing here of the cut. That's the platform, and that's the beginning of the fill, which will go right the way around and end up over here with a great big wing on that side and a small bit of cut on that side. But it's very hard to envisage that in 3D. So this file is 3D, and if you remember back to week 1 of technical literacy, when we did a little bit of flip learning by teaching you 3D, you hold your shift key down and your middle roller, roll back of it, okay, it's starting to take shape, and that's what we mean by cut and fill. Alright? So this piece in here, zoom in on it a bit more, that's the cut, where it cuts into the bank. The green lines come in, they hit the blue lines, and they go along the contour of the formation contour, and they go out the other side. This bit here is fill, so that means it's sloping downhill. Now I did this, I've whacked this together in a very short time to try and show students exactly what things look like when you do it. So that gives you a much better idea of, I'm coming back to the plan view again, what you are actually doing. And that's what you're going to be doing for me, not the 3D plan, but you'll be doing the design for me on assignment 2. And just to prove that I'm going to do something Ingrid doesn't know how to do, you, just to be a smarty pants, orbit, continuous orbit. How about that? Just don't tell her I know too much. Right. Just to go, it's a little too fast, isn't it? Too stupid. Okay, so I'm going to go around, like I said, starting in the back corner, giving people a hand. Not quite sure where our past student is today. Is he around? He's around. Good horse. I didn't see him before. Yep.
You know how we've got all these contours without any lines? Are we supposed to triangulate them?
No. Okay, so you've got. Sorry, I'm going to have to use this board, but you may be able to come and look at that later on. Turn the lights on. If you've got contours like this, so you've got spot heights, right? And then you've got contours, 42.0 or something. And then this one here, which might be 42.5. I don't know, I'm just giving an example. And you've got some crosses here, and you're being asked to find the next contour. And you can't really draw a line over here to find the 42 or 43, whatever, 41.5. You can draw a line to that line and back up again. Or over to there and back to there, if that's the way how you want to go. You can do that because every point along here is like a spotlight. It's basically its own little line of spotlight. What you can't do, if you spy another cross-lighter, you cannot do this and take it right through my contour. Alright? Because you'll get a different point and then we've got problems. and anyway, the survey has provided those. We have to, unless they're really radically wrong, we have to believe that they are correct, so therefore we can make triangles to them. We can do the triangles all the way along if we want to, you know, and then mark the next contour like that. Okay? So that makes it easy. Leave the contours that are on there, and you're just calculating the last ones. if you want an approximate idea of what it's going to look like, here's your wetlands. These ones here go like that, and these ones down in here, they kind of come around here like that, and then they squeeze together and go around the corner quite tightly. Right? And they end up over by the road there, some of them go into the bank. I think you've been given these ones, and you've certainly been given some of these as well. But I'm just saying it just goes around like that, and this one here gets closer together and around. The ones I've done in here are fictitious, and therefore the surveyors, because we're going to be doing a road design of that. Okay? So as engineers, you don't have to worry too much about that, because the land's pretty flat. It doesn't actually look like that. Another student came up to me the other day and said, I've put the building in 115. Is that okay? And I said, what did you do? And they said, I measured it with some survey equipment. You don't have to do that. But what I would expect you to do is go 1, 2, 3, it's about 3.5 metres from the road. It might be, the road sort of comes around like that, doesn't it? So you might say 3.5, and this corner piece, sorry, this goes the other way. That corner might be 3.5, and this distance here might be, say, 0.5 metre, and that's sufficient, all right? But if you're going to put something like that that's rough, that person can say that they've surveyed it, which is not really what I wanted you all to do. But what I want you to do is recognise that as being an approximate location. So in your notes, building 115 is approximately located. That's because it wasn't picked up by the surveyor. And as engineers, you're not expected to go out there and survey everything just because the surveyor missed it. Well, you're not supposed to, but the amount of times that I've ended up having to go out and resurvey something just because I've missed points. Having said that, I have also done surveying and been told off for missing points by engineers. So in my time, you had to do training in each department. So that was probably my worst nightmare. Okay, any more questions? Because I am going to start with my friend in the corner there, and I'm going to work my way around. And as I said, don't feel embarrassed. You don't have to hide your drawing. Just say, no, I've got no questions. All right? It's fine by me. I'm not going around going, oh, John Smith, no work so far. I might. How about you guys? You're just kind of doing that exercise to try and figure out how to. This will be assignment 2, all right? So if you can nail this, you'll do well in this. Yep. So you're making some advancements, so you've got to. Unfortunately, the title block and the viewport is worth 1 mark per drawing, so I can't just do it for you or show you how to do it. But
what is the viewport over here?
So to do that, you copy it. You copy the one that's there. Copy it from one point to exactly the same point. So maybe use that one. So copying that from that point to that point. That puts one on top, and then stretch one to one side, stretch the other to the other side.
One more viewport right here.
Yeah, to do that, you copy that one on top of itself, but exactly on top of itself. So if I was to copy that pen, I'd copy it from that point to that point, and then I'd have 2 pens, one behind the other.
So that's
And then stretch them out to where you want them. The best place to dock it is that point there, and that point there, and that point there. That. Yes, that's the good. That gives you just enough room to put all your stuff in it. But I would set that. Is that 1 to 100? Then that's a good time to do it. All right, because when you do your text, you can now do your text exactly the same height.
So for scaling this, just need to do the Z enter 1000 by 100 XP.
As long as you set your viewport up, your print correctly, yes. If you've done everything according to Ingrid's notes last year, yes. which you should have passed the course with the test, so you should know how to do it. Because it is a survey drawing. Alright? So I've given you quite a few tips there, but I can't go any further with that. Yeah. No, you don't have to. Hey, everybody can work on your drawings if you want to. This is just some class exercises just to help you when you come to do assignment 2. All right? Oh, and with your contours, if you want to do eyeballing with your contours. Yeah. Do you have any questions, sir? Not at the moment? Okay, no worries. Over here. Mr. McCready. Any questions at the moment?
No, I'm just trying to get the layout sorted.
Yep. So the title block and the layout is with 1 mark for each drawing. So I can't really help you with that. It's look at so you and as per last lecture last week.
Yeah. Then I have to create a block here.
You've got to leave it so I can see that on the left hand side. I want to be able to see that manhole.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to pan that along a bit. This is what I like to see. Sorry. Okay, so can I see your?
So the box here.
Okay, I think probably tighten it up a little bit, just a little bit. All right. So I don't know what your scale is, but just tighten it up a little bit. You also need the dash scale to go with it. So once, yes, dash. Yeah. So you know how to tighten the scale? Right click, properties, change the scale. You can also double click and you can actually manually do it too. You're pretty close, and that's the right hatch. Okay? Yeah. Now, just looking at that, I'll give you a couple more tips. All right? You're going to have to rename that layout 1. You're going to have to make sure everything's on the right layer. You're going to have to go in there, forget all the text I've got in there and start putting your own nice neat text at the right height. Alright? This has to be 1 to 100 as well, because you're going to be using that same height text, and if it's not 1 to 100 then the text will look weird. It'll be too small or too big. Alright? I assume you put that box inside the viewport. So you go into layout and you do all your locality plans, survey data, the legend, everything in that box, and your 45 notes that you're going to come up with. All right, all in that box. Then delete the box when you're happy that it's fine. I don't want to see 2 boxes. Just one.
So we have to do that here or in the model?
In the viewport, but then in the model you will do the notes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that all right? Pretty clear?
Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously you haven't put the manhole in yet, but when you do put it in, you want to be able to see it. A mistake that students make, you've made it, is in their viewport they don't quite see that. So therefore you're missing stuff out of there that's important. The second mistake is, over here they write the note saying manhole, beautiful note, all the information about it, and you can't see it. Yeah. The other thing you can't see, I can't see an North Point. I left you one, you can use that if you want, but it's way too big, but you have to scale it, or you can make your own one. Either way, I want to see it. Okay? And the path needs the same hatch as on my sketch. Tips finished. Beg your pardon? Yeah. Oh, you've done it. Yes. That looks good. Great. Yeah.
Because they are not in the first class, so
Let's just get a logo in there and then the box for the.
Yeah, okay. He's got a problem because you've got to do that yourself. The point is I can't keep going over the first classes, how to do it. She'll have to ask another student. And as far as the viewport, the box goes, you need to copy the viewport that you've done on top of itself exactly, so that you've got 2 viewports like that, and then just stretch one back and stretch the other one over here, so you end up with the viewport to the side and the viewport on top of itself. Alright? So you have a viewport. Viewport should be from there. copy that viewport from that point to that point.
From what point?
Oh, just which corner? Just that corner to the corner, right? I'm not going to say yes or no. It's not. Yeah. And then you've got two viewports, one on top of each other. The scale should be the same. You then click once on one of them and you drag it. I would drag that one to that point there. And then, of course, this one behind it is still the same, so you'll have to drag the one behind it back over here, so you end up with a viewport there and a viewport there, both 1 to 100. You pan that one, do a rectangle, and you've got somewhere to write your notes and stuff inside model space, right? The problem with that students do is they don't use the pan command, they use the middle roller.
That's right. Yeah, on the outside it's okay though, outside of the viewport.
Yeah, it's okay on the outside, but if you start panning with the roller on the viewport, you lose your scale. And even if it's, what's the scale? 10 XP, I think it is. Even if it's 9.999 XP, you've done it wrong. You might as well have done 1 XP, right? Because you've been playing with your middle roller. Sometimes you can not affect it, but it only takes a little tweak, and you've ended up like losing 1 mark when you don't need to. You'll see on my marking schedule, wrong scale, -1. Just like that. And the same with every single rule that Ingrid introduced you to. The arrows, the text, lining things up, everything that she said is this time round it's a professional drawing. So you don't get, oh, we'll let them away with that, and maybe just 1, that's fine. Nope. Bang. -0.5 mark, cat issues. Alright? I just want to tell you that because it makes you go back to your notes on technical literacy and be very careful on what you're doing. I'm correct, aren't I? Yeah. Yeah. So you'll see probably 3/4 of the class will lose a 0.5 mark. That's why I'm quite generous with my 0.5 marks in class. You'll see that carries on all the way through. But the 0.5 mark thing is different. There's also the semester before, I think at 3 o'clock on Friday, I said anyone that hands in by 5 o'clock on Friday, they get an extra 0.5 mark. 3 students out of the class of about 37. So I tend to reward good behaviour as well. Yeah. So yeah, those are the things that I'm looking at. So you could do a bit of something. You could do one that you believe is 15 out of 15, but I'm looking at standards, looking at trying to get you as high in the standards as possible, right? And that includes things like that, the X is going over the line, and not putting the right titles on here, or maybe students go 1 of 5, that's correct, but the 5's are over here. And it also includes wrong layers, and what you've done, you've left a massive gap at the bottom and half a gap on the right, a fairly small gap on the left and nothing at the top. So move it all down, balance it out nicely, and that's a professional drawing. Right? Okay. Get all that? Yeah. Or you expelled. So we'll go over here and we'll quick talk to one of the quieter guys in the office. Right. Just look at that in 1 to 100.
Pardon?
Just look at your viewport. Have you done 1 to 100?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, sorry. Well, at a first glance, the scale looks a little bit too big.
Too big?
That.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. You could compare it with the lady behind you because she is going to make some adjustments. You might get a bit closer. I can't really make a full judgment until you've set your scale.
Yeah.
So if you can do that there before the end of class, I'll be able to
Check it?
I'll be able to check it for you. Yeah.
Alright.
Disappear.
No, I'm all good.
Okay. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, can I have a look at your viewport?
Yeah.
Look at that, you've named it too, well done. Okay, do you want a critique or do you want me to be quiet?
No, I want.
You want me to be mean? Okay. that could do with tightening up of it, which means you have to change the scale a little bit so you'll have more of those there.
Okay. Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
It also needs the dash. So the swamp is that plus the dash.
Dash as well. The vegetables.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Dash will be a similar scale. If you can get that in there before we finish tonight, I can say yes or no. Otherwise you're on your own.
Okay.
That's 25 times, but the problem there is you haven't centered things.
Yeah.
So you could actually take this right. I want to know that's probably about right. Oh no, so whatever that is halfway, that's not too far off. But this way's terrible.
Yeah. So I just need to widen it a bit.
Yeah, and I'll give you a bit more room at the top too.
Okay.
If you have that sort of gap right round,
Yeah.
or roughly, you'll get more at the top, which will give you more room to put stuff. Things to be careful of. Make sure you draw in the outlet structure. Make sure that you label all the labels needed on the manhole, from the top to the bottom. That will include the lid level, the invert level of the pipe. You'll find out about that next week. All the information on that, the outlet. Make sure you get your line types for it. At the moment, I don't think you've got your line type scale right. Remember doing that with Ingrid? LT scale?
LT scale. Yes.
It's probably okay in layout space, but just pretend I'm a client and you're sending me a PDF.
Yeah.
The PDF will look like that. Got me?
For the center line, do I need to be like more specific with my LT scale? Like, is it by approximation?
Not each line. You do an LT, yes, by approximation. Yeah.
Okay. And just
If that's 1 to 100 and you want me to say yes or no, have a go at a LT scale that looks good. Let me give you a bit of a clue to that.
yeah.
Just shoot back to, by the way, you've got to work out what sort of lines are on the outside of the pipe, because according to your technical literacy, if it's in the ground and hidden, it should be a hidden line type. Yeah. That's A1. An A1 sheet is, excuse me for reaching over, is approximately that size by about that size. So if you can imagine, if you zoom into that much, it's about a quarter. So you do have to think about what it will actually look like on an A1 sheet. I'll draw one on the board, it might give you a better idea of its size. It's 800 and something by 500 and something. So it's approximately that size there. That's approximately your A1. I could be a wee bit wrong, it's just to visually. Yeah.
Is it like the trees are like fine, or do I have to?
Trees look lovely as long as they are the right size, about the same size as my trees, and the centre's about the same. Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
just kind of touching the outside of mine.
Yeah.
Okay? But as far as the trees go,
Yeah.
very pretty. But I'll tell you what, you get just as much marks for those as you will for that. I'm not a pretty person, sorry. I only use one side of my brain when I'm at Unitec. That's the engineering side. Yeah. Never mind. I saw your text is still on an angle. Don't like angled text. So you're better off. That's the only one I'll let you away with. Because you can be a bit different with your wetlands. But to be honest, most text in engineering is pretty boring. It's just horizontal.
Yeah.
Now, thinking of the trees, you probably don't have to write native tree beside them all, because you're going to put it in your symbols, I hope. So maybe one with native tree beside it, and maybe see note 4 or something. And on note 4, you can start talking about environmental engineer to check trees. More importantly, anything that's around the platform that your butterfly wings might touch is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So these are more important than perhaps the ones in your own, because you're probably not going to touch those. Do you understand?
So like I can't move them, so basically you have to draw over them, right? Even if they're touching.
Later on, for assignment 2, yeah, and for assignment 2 things change. That goes from a survey traverse to a proper solid platform. And yes, the butterfly wings will go on, and yes, they'll go right through the tree, and we'll know more. At that point, it goes from the note that says environmental engineer to check to environmental engineer to apply for resource consent to cut it down. Or
Because it's in the way.
in the way, yeah. Or if it goes in, if the butterfly wing goes into the wetlands, then you've got even more issues because the water is sacred to the iwi. So you've got to apply to the iwi for consent. You've got to apply to council for consent. It goes on and on. So maybe a better idea with the butterfly wing is to put a retaining wall net to stop the dirt from going that far. But then you can't design that. I can't design that. I'm not a structural engineer. So structural engineer to design a retaining wall. But you can tell them a little bit. It's got to be about this high by about that wide.
Okay, so if in drawings our contours are like crossing trees, so we have to draw like that for our drawings.
In terms of what in plan view, these trees here.
Yeah.
You can do, as long as they're different. I don't care what they look like. I did say palm trees are a bit, because they only have a branch coming off. This doesn't quite fit at Unitech, but everything else is fine. Yeah. I won't mark the palm trees down. It just makes it hard to see where the circle is because we're going to be doing a long section. So we're going to turn the trees and look at them sideways.
Yeah.
And palm trees don't quite work as well. All right. The outlet structure, I did a sketch of that, get hold of that, that gives you an idea of the height of it, and the wingspan, 45 degrees, and probably 1 to 2 metres long. You need to draw that on there, before you think about what it looks like. Next week we'll do that on the long section.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll have to think about that one too. All right? Any more questions? Don't like those dots. Go back and look at week 1 notes to what the bush looks like.
Yep, and this one.
Yep.
I have one question.
Yep.
My list is not showing up, I don't know why.
You what's not showing?
My list, like,
Click enter. It could be behind that. You just drop that down a bit. Keep going. Click on the object again and go enter. List. Click on it and enter. Just pull that up a bit, like you're pulling your socks up. Yeah. A bit more. No, you've got to sort of hook it up. Yeah, you're nearly there. Yep, keep going. Next thing. Yeah, you're probably a bit. You could pull that, have that bar about there, and then you'll see it. Yeah. I don't really like showing students that because they go home on their laptop, and next thing you know, they pull their socks right up to here, and they can't see anything. They don't know how to get it back, and they start covering. They grab the wrong things.
okay.
So that then becomes creepy because I offer to come round to my dressing room at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they go, no, that's all right. You can cut that bit out. You're up at the back. What's your questions? That's fine. On an angle for the wetlands. You what? Oh, you're making some good progress. Your viewport is not quite right because I can't see your manhole. You're going to have to include that manhole over there. Yep. So you're going to need to pan it a little bit. And the upper structure
Maradona hand?
Whatever's hand you want, just not my hand, okay? Can I have a look at that, please? I want to see. I'm just going to give you some tips here, I think. Just zoom in a wee bit. Oh, no. I just click out here. I don't want you to lose your scale. Just zoom in a bit with your mouse. Yeah, now see how that's the bottom of the text? Mm-hmm. That wasn't the way how I taught you. It needs to be halfway up the text. Now, is your text associated with that, or is it different? Click on the text.
This one is correct.
Incorrect, yeah. I'll tell you in a minute.
Why is it?
Okay, so that is wrong and that is wrong. And I'm going to do a little thing. I shouldn't, because this is technical literacy and communication. it's always halfway up, and it's always, depending on what you're pointing at, you can do it if it's horizontal, but depending on what you're pointing at, it's up there. Okay? Yeah, that's my cell phone. It's alright. It's just reminding me I'm taking too long.
And the size of the feet, does it look right?
The big one there.
The size of the feet, does it look right? Or
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's touching here, touching there, touching here. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're looking at that, that's fine. Okay. Yep. And I can't tell until you go into your viewport. Can you go back to your viewport? Roll back. Yeah, that's about right. You could tighten up the grass a little bit more grass if you wanted, but it's pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. Are you first or your second time around, aren't you? Yeah. You seem to have made some good improvements. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Coming along good.
Thanks.
Yep. But as I said, I want to see that, and whatever text, make sure you can see it in the viewport.
Sure.
I can't see North Point either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that later. Yeah.
How are you getting on? You're just doing the viewport thing at the moment.
No. I just try to.
Set the scale.
No. I done everything. He's done everything.
Wow, you've done quite a bit actually, but you're at the scale setting stage, right?
Yeah, I know that one.
And don't forget to rename that.
Yeah.
So you've got to do the Zoom XP thing, and I can't tell you that's technical literacy, and also it's 1 mark for doing this. There's a lot of students that have done it. You could ask them. There is something when you go file print that you need to do, and a lot of students forget to do, and that could be the issue. When you go file print, there's something that students, some of them are forgetting to do, and that's having an effect on that. Also setting, you've got to set that up first, then you do that.
Yeah.
All right, and that should be 25 times. Did you do that? Okay, well, there's a chance you might be able to do your XP thing. I'll leave you to it, just as long as no one else does it for you.
Yeah. How about the rest of the? All good?
I can't tell you all good, but I can see 1 or 2 things that you haven't done properly.
Which one is that?
You'll have to go back and look at your notes. What I can tell you is you've forgotten to rename your layer on the bottom. And I can't go into I can't tell you about your line types or your hatching because I can't see it in the viewport. So I can't give a critique. I'm happy with your trees as long as they're in the right place and they encompass everything. And of course you've got your contours to do. Can't see an outlet structure, can't see the manhole and all the different information as
This
well.
came through a little bit slow. It's showing up later.
Is that on a terrible colour?
Not the same color like this one.
Make it a red colour or something so I can see it. You know what I'll be doing? I'll have to change it to white. And if I have to make changes, it's annoying.
Let me change this one.
It might not be visible either. I'll come back. Okay. So where's your viewport? Can I zoom in on the? I can't see much there. It's like a little wee. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with the line type scale. I think the dash line could be a little bit tighter.
Make that small.
No, the dash line on the yeah. And also, I'm not happy with your line type scale for your pipeline, and I don't like the fact that you've cut half your text off.
It is still, I mean?
Yeah. This is like when you break up with your girlfriend and she's not happy, she cuts all your pants in half. I want to see that. So go back in model space and change it.
Okay.
Obviously you don't have a girlfriend, right?
Question. I have a question as well.
Yeah.
About the locality plan.
I can see one thing missing. Go back to any notes or recording you've got from lecture 1 or from lab 1.
About the locality plan.
And the layout plan. Beg your pardon? There is one thing missing up there. Everything else is fine.
Okay. And
Yeah.
another thing, I don't know, you show it, I don't know. This outlet.
Okay, so
how does it move?
yeah, I did a sketch of that. I told you approximate size looking in plan view.
Yeah.
The wing walls are approximately 1 to 2 meters long, 100 mil thick, and 45-degree angle. So I did a sketch on the board on week 1.
I have
Yeah.
a sketch, but
So what's the sketch say? Yeah, so that's your diameter of your pipe. So I've gone 2 times the diameter all the way around. Right? I don't think I necessarily did a distance there, so make that 1 to 2 meters. Up to you.
and the angle is 45.
45 when you're looking down on it. Yep.
Okay.
Got that?
Yeah, there's 2 of them, both should be the same.
Yes.
Here, one here.
Yes. There's 2 outlets. Well done. You've just been the first person to pick that up.
Half a mark?
No. No. $50 to you.
Okay.
Sell the information. Every student gives you 50. I want 50. Right?
Okay, he's taking for free. Look at him.
That's what you think. You got to pay. That's what you think. It's Friday tomorrow. It's beer o'clock. Won't be me paying for it. You can cut that out of the video. Oh, I like what you've done here. It's good. Did you use iometry or did you use divide?
The divide.
Oh, brilliant. Yep. No, looking good. Yep. So
This one is not-
I want to see that frozen,
Yeah.
but the contours,
Oh,
your
it's fine.
design contours leave them on.
Oh, okay.
So I will then just thaw that. I'll say, hold on. And I go here where you go format.
Yeah.
Click on format. Point styles. And I change that to something like, so that one.
Oh, okay.
Click on that. And go OK. And I can see them. Did you see them start appearing? Yep. So I can say, yep, he's done. Very easy for me to check. And I'll probably just pick on 2. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, he's done that right too. Done.
Oh,
All right.
just got a question regarding this hedge. Does the hedge has to go through the trees or no?
Hedge.
The hedge. We see the hedge
Well,
is going
the
under.
hedge.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like to me those trees have been drawn in the wetlands. So that's the difference. Out here they're not. They're sitting on grass.
Okay.
But just leave them in the wetlands. Yeah.
So that's fine. The hedge is fine here.
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like Lake Wanaka in the South Island. There's a tree in the middle of the lake. And everybody wants their photos, whether they're getting married, whether they come from overseas. Everybody taking selfies with the tree.
Oh, okay.
So there's your chance. I better go and answer that. It sounds like it's important. Okay.
집에 조모 무거워. 제 집에 저 집은 안 와. I'll go around everybody and I'll get back. Okay? Sorry. Yeah. there tonight.
They are in the same layer.
Did you have any other questions? Excuse me? In terms of... No. Well, if that is 1 to 100, it looks like you're in the right place. What I haven't checked your hatching. Can you zoom in on that? No, that looks a little bit too big. I think I would tighten it up a bit more. Okay? It's a little bit hard to see.
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'll be changing a lot of your layers to white or black.
And this contour, have you seen this one?
Yes, it's weird, isn't it? Yes. Yes,
fine.
well picked up. Yeah, no, that's just to put students off the scent.
Okay.
That's for the ones that go out there to the site and try and work out where it is.
So the rest of the
But you do need to join the contours up with the existing ones,
yeah.
if you can. You're nearly there. And you can sort of see how things are going to take shape. Cool. All right?
Sorry?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's right. Is that your hatch up there? Or what's that spot on? Can I zoom in? Oh, no. Okay, so you're in the wrong location. I want to... Oh, go back. All right, I need to see the manhole. The platform is going to be up here somewhere, and so you need to pan down. With the hand mirror. Oh, okay, all right, we can use it. You probably lost your scale. No, I can't see the manhole. And the pipe goes over here. And I need to see about. Keep going down. No, down. You don't want to see nothing. Put that there. There you go. Yes. Now that's probably going to be about right. Happy with your dash? Very good. Not happy with the grass? It needs to be in a bit tighter. Right.
So is there a specific scale for
No,
the hatch?
no. The idea was you finished it this week and I told you yes or no. The ones that haven't done it, well, they'll have to ask other people or make a guess. You see, the thing is that the trick is to make it look good in the viewport, not in model. Because the viewport's what the client's going to see. You be careful of that scale. You've been mucking around with that.
Yeah, and one more
You
thing.
never use that. You use the hand and mirror dot. Okay? Yes?
And when you do the XP thing, XP factor,
Yep.
so you can use the LTS one as well. Can we use the LT scale thing for that? We change the scale of the whole viewport. That's what I do in AutoCAD one. This is what I remember.
You be careful doing that. If you know what you're doing, yes. If you've just found the function and you think you're pretty cool, don't just use the way Ingrid taught you.
So
All right.
XP1 is much better.
XP1 will get you 4 marks. Not XP1.